Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of On the Edge, brought to you by BotKeeper. My name is David Bergstein. I am your host today, and I have the pleasure today of working with Dustin Wheeler, CPA, who I just participated with at a conference on AI on a panel. Dustin is the Chief Financial Officer and Director of Tax Strategy for Andina Family Offices. Would that be correct?
Well, it's Andina is how we say it. Yeah, Andina Family Offices.
Okay, now I appreciate it. Can you tell me a little bit, and to our listeners, I know you got a real diverse background. Can you tell me about your path to your present position? Because I think you were with a top 100 firm and maybe some other things in between. We'll give everyone a little idea on your background and why you're on the edge.
Yeah, well, how about I talk a little bit about what got me into accounting in the first place? My grandfather was an accountant. He was not a CPA, but he worked as an accountant for the grocery store chain called Albertsons, which grew out of Idaho, is now pretty big. And so he was one that I greatly admired and looked up to. I've actually got an old accounting book right here on my desk. That's Principles of Accounting, and my grandfather assigned this August 21st, 1957. So I guess you could say maybe it runs in the family a bit. My parents, they're not accountants, but they're business owners, and so even during like my young teenage years, I was doing things, helping them with their business, like matching the point of sale to invoices and reconciling the checkbook. I remember doing inventory counts when I was like 10 years old. So with all that experience, I feel like I gained an understanding of accounting and business at a pretty young age, probably younger than most. So I've always liked the financial side of business, but I also enjoy the technology side of things. So I'm always looking for technology to help a business to run better. So I do have accounting degrees. I have a bachelor's and a master's of accounting. I also took as many information systems classes as I could as my electives. So anyway, right out of college, I moved to Las Vegas. And I got a job there with the largest local firm at the time in Las Vegas. My job there was pretty much strictly tax. And I had a short stay there. I left for an opportunity about a year and a half later with a smaller firm, a firm of about 16 people. Which was a good change for me. It allowed me to develop some other talents besides tax. They needed somebody to fill a role of a QuickBooks Pro Advisor and Peachtree expert, somebody who can fill those roles. All of that really interested me. And so I didn't do a lot of, say, bookkeeping work, but I did supervise quite a bit of it. I did a lot of training clients on those systems. I did software conversions. I did setups of new systems, a lot of troubleshooting, and so I really developed more of an understanding of accounting systems during that time. And then I feel like the turning point in my career was when in 2008 I attended. It was then known as the AICPA Technology Conference. Now it goes by AICPA Engage. It's been in Las Vegas for many years, and during that conference, I felt like I became acquainted with a lot of people who were a lot like me. They were interested in improving their firms and finding ways to change. Really, especially looking for technology to change the way that we work. These were people that were not afraid of change, and so I came out of that conference with a lot of initiatives to help improve my firm that I work for. And some of this is really simple stuff like dual monitors and going paperless. It's common nowadays, but it wasn't back in 2008. And so I really spearheaded that effort to get the office paperless. Another thing that really helped me around that time is I got into some of these social apps, LinkedIn, Twitter, which is now X. I started blogging, and that really helped me to get to know some of the brightest minds out there in the profession. And many of those people are still very creative, and they're doing some really innovative things when it comes to technology and accounting. So collaborating with them, that all had just a great influence on me, and really I felt drove me to do better. So now fast forwarding to 2013, we decided to move our growing family out of Las Vegas, and we moved to Utah, and I joined a larger firm in Utah. Continued to do accounting work and tax work, but also doing a lot of the tech, moving to the cloud, for example. And then in 2017, that firm that I was with merged with Eide Bailly. So Eide Bailly is the top 20 CPA firm in the nation. So when I had the news about that merger, I was a bit nervous and apprehensive at the beginning. I never wanted to work for a big, large firm because I'd heard horror stories of big four and large firms. But in retrospect, though, I think it was a really positive change for me. It brought me new opportunities. And one thing that I was able to attain at Eide Bailly was being on the team for the client accounting services and helping our people to adopt technology. That was really my primary role on a national level, to take our accounting services to another level. And then, okay, so last stop I'll make here is last year I got an offer from a client I'd served for many years. Andina Family Office is where I'm at now, to make a bit of a career change, to work in. I'm really in a world of CSPs. I'm the lone CPA in this office. But I've learned quite a bit about financial planning and investments, and I really have loved what I can bring to the firm, which is more of an accounting and tax mind, and to our clients who are invested in several of our funds, and helping them to plan out their future as far as finances go.
It sounds like you had a very interesting career from typical accounting work. You must have used one of these called a pencil somewhere in your background, and you held up your grandfather's book about accounting, which is accounting as a process, recording, sorting, and summarizing data to permit informed judgments. And how have you taken that? And that's really the question. You got that great background from the technical skills. What are you doing now in the family office? How have you moved to the edge from how tax returns are prepared or how tax planning is done? Is it done with a spreadsheet and a pencil? Is it done, on Excel on a computer? Or are you taking programs that are extracting data? Are you working with AI? How's your role changed in using technology?
Yeah. Well, I don't do any more tax preparation. Those days are long behind me. The deadlines aren't as onerous as they used to be when I was preparing tax returns. Now I'm strictly doing tax planning, and we collaborate with and we work with a number of CPAs. Our goal as a family office is to be the #1 management investment consultant and family office for the CPAs that we work with, be the top collaborator with them. And we're doing that. We don't do that with pen and paper. We don't do that with really Excel all that much anymore. We use a software called Listaplan. This is a software I never heard of in my days as a CPA with CPA firms. But it's a great software that we can it'll recognize the data off of the tax return and put it into their planning software and show graphically what the effect of, say, a Roth conversion would be, or it'll go for multiple years and do tax projections. So it's really built for financial planners. We found it to be a very quick way of being able to provide a tax projection and give good advice to our clients. And at the same time, it's got some power to it and some good interface to help our clients.
Does it have, based on what you're telling me, again, this is why we're on the edge. You've automated the process. So it looks at the tax return data and automatically pulls it out. Does it identify potential areas? Does it utilize any AI suggestions as to what to do. So when I was a tax accountant and doing projections, I would be using various pieces of software, pulling the data out, doing a whole bunch of what ifing, and some manual stuff in between. It's just making it all automated, shortening the time to get something done.
It is, yeah, and actually the kind of the trick to the whole thing of it is to you get a pretty long report, because you can get a 3 or 4 or 5 page long report with all kinds of data and graphs on their tax situation, and then it has a big long checklist of recommendations. So the where I come in is I'll narrow this down. Okay, what's really important out of all this data, and hide all of the tiles that aren't going to be helpful on this report, and then take that list of recommendations and chop that down into what's going to be most meaningful for the client. What's going to, number one, what's going to save them maybe the most amount of tax if they were to implement a strategy, and then also making it so it's in bite sizes. It's easy for the client to digest.
No, it makes this, yeah, it's sort of in line with, I believe, Della had mentioned to me that CPA Practice Advisor, which is a publication in the industry, just came out with their 2024 Readers Awards, and their first categories are all in the area that you're in. They're in tax preparation, in-firm technology, tax planning systems, specialty tax software, everything. Again, the whole world of accounting is changing to automation. What do you see the future of accounting? What do you see the future accountant doing? Will they be doing compliance work? Will the compliance work be automated? Will they be doing more advising? Will they be using different tools? Will they be an accountant or an advisor?
I think AI is changing really the world right now. And it's affected other professions more than ours. I hear from my friends who are programmers how AI has greatly affected their world, and it's going to hit us too. It's maybe hitting us a little slower. Accountants seem to be a little slower to adopt it, but I've been really impressed with using AI, and number one, for communication. I've used it many times to explain a difficult tax concept to a client. I'll ask AI to summarize like a tax provision or a tax law. One example is an 83B election. That can be confusing to someone who doesn't have a business background or an accounting background, and I've used it to explain that. I've used it to draft emails. So it's been great in that regard. I've also experimented with it as far as for AI to take a big list of unstructured data and structure it into say a profit and loss, or to structure it somehow into a table that I can actually use to give the clients some good data. And so I think it's just going to grow as a tool for us as accountants to be more efficient. And so we're not spending all that time doing all of that busy work, and now we've got time to advise our clients. It's just going to free up time for us.
So does that mean that you lower your bill when you're doing planning for your clients because you're getting the work done quicker, or is that somehow taken into account?
Well, some clients may have that expectations. I've seen I've seen online where there's some, especially those that are working in the world of AI, that are building they're building those types of software to do all that type of work. I've seen expectations of lower rates, but really, it's we can't expect AI to do it all. And actually, I get this out of my grandfather's book. One thing that it says at the very beginning is it says accounting is an art, not a science, which as a young kid, that kind of blew me away. I never thought of accounting that way, but it's really true. AI can go in and do all sorts of structuring the data for us. They can even, to some extent, interpret that data and make it understandable. But when it comes to designing an accounting system and designing what's really most meaningful for a client, I think only a human can do that. And we can use AI as a tool, but I don't think AI is going to get there to just make things, understanding who the client is, understanding what the client cares about, and being able to have a conversation around that. I think only a human can do that.
I 100% agree. In the end, I think it's the human contact, but I firmly believe that what you call the art is a combination of science and art. The science or the automation is the bookkeeping process, which will be automated 100%. I know BotKeeper's invested a lot of money in that and working very quickly to go from transaction to GL in an automated fashion. So that's, maybe I'll call that the science part. The art comes in where we communicate and use our skills to explain to our clients how they can achieve their goals and what they want to do, I believe, somewhere along the line. So that transition is going to be here for a while. So if someone was going to go to college today, and I know we have the 150-hour rule slowly diminishing down to skills, would you be advising them to take a lot of accounting courses, or would you push them to the edge and say take a minimum of accounting courses and take something else? What would you tell them to do?
I would do what I did, and I did all the accounting courses that were required, but with all my electives, I chose courses in technology. I felt like that was an important thing for me. It was something I enjoyed, and it's something that's been benefiting me through my entire career. I took a lot of business courses, and I enjoyed them too. Marketing and business management, and I feel like that's something that we need to be advising our clients to. It's not just the accounting side, but if we can have conversations with our clients on their strategy and on the ways they're running their business, that's just going to make us a lot more valuable.
100% agree. And again, I'm looking at the future accountant or a bookkeeper calling themselves something other than an accountant and bookkeeper, a strategist, a consultant, advisor with accounting skills down the line. What do you think of what do you learn? I know we just got back from wherever we was, Sonoma Valley at AI Unchained. What do you think of what came out of that meeting? What did you learn from that, from meeting other people? What do you think the mood was?
Oh, it was amazing. I guess one of the big takeaways for me is just seeing how BotKeeper has developed their product to expand out the scope of their platform. I was really impressed with that. It's going into things like being able to look at subledgers and like amortization schedules and those types of things. And I got to know quite a few people that were there. It's a great time to be in the profession because I feel like the steam is really picking up into the adoption of technology, and I've seen it over the years, but the ball seems to be rolling a bit faster now.
It's going to continue to roll faster and faster as we move into 25 and 26. Do you think, from a standpoint of your firm, that there'll be changes in how they do things? Do they need more people, or are they implementing more technology?
Well, I know we're planning on growth. And so the answer, I think, is a mix of both. We're going to have to hire more people, and we're going to have to adopt more technology to automate things. But yeah, it's something that we're constantly looking at to improve our practice. It's not only just to do more work with less people, but it's also we always look at technology too with a business strategy type of focus. Like, how can we use technology to create a better client experience? How can we use it to do something better than we had done before? It's not, you don't always look at technology as we can save money or we can save time. We can certainly do that, but it can often do other things as well.
Do you know anything about, I heard there's a product that OpenAI unveiled called Swarm. I don't know if you know anything about it. I'm just throwing it out. Have you dealt with that at all?
I haven't. Tell me about it, David.
Well, it's a new open source method that enables AI to handle tasks on our behalf. I'm just looking at OpenAI being the backroom resource. And I think I started with ChatGPT and worked my way to Copilot because I like everything integrated into the system there for Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. So every day I'm learning something new. So I just threw it out. I just getting into it. I figured maybe you might have got into it, but I know you stay current with reading and publications to stay up to date with everything in AI. So how do you find the time to
Yeah,
do that?
it's very difficult. But yeah, I do. I find I would say that I try to find the things that are the most relevant to me. I don't try to go out and just try to read everything about a certain topic. I follow people online who I feel like are really sharing the content that's the most meaningful for me. And then it's experimentation too. I don't try to just read theory, but I also try to get some experience for myself. And one example is with Copilot. I've got on my computer at home. I've got a Copilot subscription, and I've also experimented quite a bit with ChatGPT. I think for us to be prepared for a future of AI, even if you're not using AI yet in your firm, or you're not using with client data, maybe your firm has a policy that doesn't allow you to do that, and that's okay. But get some, experiment with it personally. I've used it quite a bit to try to explain things in a way that I think are simply understood. I've used it for some aspects of my personal life. I teach a Sunday school, and I'll use that to put together a lesson or a PowerPoint, and it's been a great help.
No, I'm exploring constantly the different things you can do with it. I think the future is bright for anyone who wants to get into the accounting profession. I know we read a lot of different articles about they can't find people, they're outsourcing, but the bottom line that I see is taking yourself as an ideal example. You got great accounting skills, you know what's going on in accounting, and you're starting to use technology to get your information through the pipeline, through the system much quicker so that you can help your clients make better decisions. And I think that's truly the future of everything that's out there for accounting in terms of continuous learning, making sure they know what's going on, and exploring. Every day there's new tools and resources out there. So you got to be really careful because you don't want to change every 15 minutes across the line. And I think we're going to have a bright future if people want to be accountants. And that's always what I'm trying to encourage. I think I say that too much sometimes, but it's all about the future of accounting. It's all about the technology. So what last advice would you have someone and then to get into the profession and where you see going, and how do people get a hold of you if they got any further questions?
Yeah. Well, as you were talking there about learning, I feel like I've been to a lot of accounting conferences, and often it's the managing partner, it's partners that go to a lot of these conferences. But I feel like those people need to take younger staff in their firms, people who have a drive and a motivation to help to improve their firms. I think they should be taking some staff to some of these AICPA and some of these industry conferences, because it's just a way for them to grow and to learn and to connect with other professionals like I did. So that would be my advice maybe for some of the partners who may be listening. Yeah, so I would love to talk to anybody who's listening and would like to get in touch. You can find me on LinkedIn if you search for Dustin Wheeler, CPA. My email address is dwieeler@andinafamilyoffices.com. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you.
No, I appreciate you being a guest. I enjoyed talking to you, and I'll leave everyone with one thought that you and I both shared at the AI Unchained conference. You won't be replaced by AI, but you will be replaced by someone using AI. And that's why everybody, including you, is using it. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. And look forward to our next session. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, David.